you guys all have different skill sets, right? We all have our different skill sets. I know working with all you guys all have your own way of handling buyers, handling listing agents. So the way that we work our business is different. And I know, like, for example, at one point you were Saria, like the dream buyer specialist. And now we just had a conversation over the weekend where you're like, I like the listings, I like the buyers, but I like to do quality over quantity.
100%.
And so what was that? Where'd you see that shift? When did that shift happen for you?
I mean, I think backing it up like to when I made the decision to be a buyer specialist, when no one else wanted to do that, I saw an opportunity, right? I saw that everywhere you went, they were teaching those who list last. In order to be successful, you had to be a listing agent. And I was like, you know what? If I can prove to people that you can do it as a buyer's agent, I can stand out, and I can use that as a platform later on in my business. So for the first 5 to 7 years of my business, I referred every listing to Matt. I didn't take one. I referred every single one out. Everyone was like, what is wrong with you? What are you doing? Why would you give people to him? No. But
I remember
for
that
me,
because
it
I
was the
remember you
best
would
thing
call,
I
hey,
ever
this is
did.
Suria's listing. They're buying with you. And
Yeah.
we might have a buyer for you to work with as well.
It was the best thing I ever did because I believed that the best listing agents were great buyer's agents first, because they learned what terrible listing agents were like, right? And so I used that as an opportunity to learn. And then naturally, for all agents after 5 to 7 years is when your listing business starts to grow because your initial buyers start to sell. So when my past clients became sellers is when I started going to sellers. Now at this point, I'm heavier on seller side than buyer side, but I work all of it at this point.
Matt, I know you're listing heavy. You've always been. I mean,
Yeah, it was the same thing. Like, so the team that we're on, like, we all learned on the buyer side, right? And we all say the same thing. Like, you have to be a great buyer agent to be a great listing agent, because you get into the psychology of the way buyers are thinking versus just what the seller wants, because it's a give and take. You have to know what that buyer might be going through something. It might be a first-time home buyer, got to hold their hand. But yeah, the first bunch of years, I was strictly on the buyer side. Lori, who we work for, I would go with her. And I always say I got trained by Michael Jordan. I probably went to 400 or 500 appointments with her, learned how she talked to people on the listing side. And one day there was just 2 appointments and she couldn't go to both. She goes, you go to one. I said, I got this. Came back in. She got her listing. I got my listing. And then at that point, I pretty much was a listing agent.
And Rennie, you started on the listing side?
No,
You
buyer
started
side.
buyer side as well?
I was his trainer.
Oh.
And I trained her. Lori will take credit, but I trained her.
All my bad habits came from Matt.
So do you feel the same way, like what Matt says?
100%. Yeah, I mean, I was blessed enough to work on the buyer side. I think it was a blessing because what them two said, you have to get into the psyche of the buyer. Even nowadays, there's buyers are on the fence, right? They're worried, is now the right time to buy, even if they're under contract. I mean, fallout is a big thing right now. So I think that one of the challenges for me is I love listings. Last year in my business, I mean, I probably did 90% listings, limited buyers. So I wish it would be more buyer heavy. Most of my buyers is just stuff that comes to me, like, friends, family, referrals, things of that nature. But I think starting out on the buyer side and continuing that piece of business is important. But yeah, for me, I like listings. I like it.
It's incredible. You guys are, I have to say, probably your success is also because you can do both sides. So when the market shifts, you guys know how to shift with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you guys know, like, okay, right now we are in I think still we're in a buyer's market.
For sure.
We're definitely not at that COVID market.
Right.
And we're not in the fluid market that you talked about,
Right.
2017, 18. Because I do agree with you. 2016, 17, 18, that was a nice time.
Yeah.
It was.
So think about
it
it. After the
50-50. It was
foreclosures,
nice.
after short sales, the market kind of settled, and then yeah.
So, and then buyers could put an offer in.
Right.
I have to worry about multiple offers, like what happened afterwards.
Yep.
You negotiated, sellers would listen.
Yep.
Now sellers have to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.